Hello and welcome to a yoga class all about honoring our ether, our, as they call it in Sanskrit, akasha, or space, the aspect of the self that is most empty, free, available, ever present, and also most subtle. So it can be the hardest to really be aware of. So how do we get there? You're going to come onto your back. Have any props that you need nearby? You might want a belt, a blanket, or a block. And I want you to just come onto your back at first and bring your arms and your legs in the air. And just start to roll things around. And you can move your head a little bit side to side. And just start to deepen your breath. And just allow yourself to get into some of the wateriness that we worked with last week. Maybe open and close your jaw. And then finally stretch the arms overhead and the legs long. Woo. Maybe kind of shift, lengthening one side and then the other, just a really simple stretch. Okay, and now I want you to go ahead and put the soles of the feet on the floor. Bring your hands to the back of your neck and lift up your skull, slightly tuck your chin, and then release the back of the head back down, and you should feel a little more space in the neck and the shoulders. Now just give yourself a nice big hug. And maybe you kind of wiggle from one side to the other, walking the fingertips toward the spine. Now, first, just notice that you can breathe in out of your upper back, feeling that expansion and contraction. And then I want you to take your feet really wide, like as wide as your mat, and let the knees fall together. So you're opening up the upper back and you're opening up the lower back at the same time. Can you fill those spaces with breath? So we're creating more space, or at least in our sensations in the body, more akasha, right? More space. And as we do this, and we fill that space with breath. Okay, take the arms up into the air. Switch which elbow is on top, and again, return to that hugging the upper body. This time an invitation, if you want, just to flop the knees from side to side. As you take these long, deep breaths. So make space in the body and then arrive into that space. With your mind, with your breath. Acknowledging the ether inside, the space. The emptiness, the nothingness. Without space, we wouldn't have anything to fill with ourselves, right? Or with all these other elements and experiences. Now, I want you to go ahead and bring your knees together. Okay, now take your hands again to the base of the skull like we did before. Like we did before, tuck your chin and lift up the head, but this time maybe lift up a teensy bit higher, so we're in a little crunch. And then extend the left leg, do a little twist, right elbow to left knee, and then switch. We're not going to do a ton of these. Just going to do this for about 20 more seconds. So we switch sides. I don't know why I'm feeling really uncoordinated today. Okay, there we go. Find your own coordination and then find a little rhythm. Not too much longer. If you need a rest, go ahead and come on down. Otherwise, count out 2 more sets each side. And then go ahead and lie down in the back. Hug the knees into the chest and then rock up to sit. Cross at your ankles, come all the way onto hands and knees. Now tuck your toes under and feel some space in the bottoms of your feet, okay? And then kind of walk back with the weight until you've got your tush back over your feet. That should be opening up the feet even more. Those who have the openness for it might be able to come all the way back into a squat and get a stretch in the bottoms of the feet here. But take a couple more breaths, stretching the feet, right? However feels right and good in this little shape, right? So spreading out, maybe you spread out the little toes. One more breath here. And then go ahead and shift the weight forward for some cats and cows. Turn the tops of the feet down to the ground now, so your toes are no longer tucked. Okay, and just notice if you press the feet and the shins into the ground, what that activates. Come into cow shape, and then exhale, cat. So that's that rounded spine is cat with the chin tucked. Cow is where we lift the chin and we lengthen. Can you do that just a couple more times? Arriving into this body, this breath, this experience. Good. Then what I would like for you to do next is to put your forearms on the ground and then put the crown of your head on the ground if you can. Okay, right in between your wrists. And see if you can keep the back of the neck long as you do this. So you're not crunching, right? You're not going too far forward. Like you can see here, when I'm coming too far forward, my back of the head is on the ground. If I come too far back, I'm on my forehead. That's not a place. There's nowhere to kind of put your weight there, right? Can you find just the tip top of the head? And we're not putting a lot of weight on it for now. We're just going to find this here. And then I want you to imagine you could breathe in and out of the crown of your head. So you're taking up earth energy on the inhale and you're releasing your mind energy back down into the earth on your exhale. Do one more like that. Now come back into child's pose. And now you put the forehead on the ground, right? Feel that that's very different. Tent your fingers and take a couple of breaths where you're just spreading out your upper back, your shoulders. Big breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to round up. You'll drag your fingers back with you. Good. And then can you just bring the arms up? Big breath in, reach up to the sky, gather the sky, and then go ahead and just bring your hands to prayer right in front of your heart. I want you to take a moment here to drop into the heart and check in for the intention that already exists. It brought you to the mat already. What was it? What was it? What is it? That guides you to your practice. Honor that. Clarify it. State it as your intention. And then if you want, you can join me in an Om. Wherever you are, take your left hand to the left, right arm alongside the ear, and just take a big old stretch. Breathing in and out of the side waist. And then we're going to round around, but first I want you to reach like at a diagonal and drop the head. You don't have to touch the ground. You might though, right? But see if you can find that line from the right hip through the right fingers. Breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to round your way around to the other side, just dragging the fingers in a semicircle till you get to this diagonal. Then inhale. I want you to come all the way up. Left arm lifts up high. Right arm comes underneath. Eagle wrap, right? Similar to what we did on our backs in a way when we were hugging ourselves. It exposes the upper back. It makes more space. You can lift the elbows to make more space. You can fold forward to make more space. Breathe in. And breathe out. Everyone come all the way up, separate the arms, inhale, cactus the arms, then exhale, bulge the eyes, lion's breath, stick out your tongue. And then other side, so right hand comes down, left arm goes alongside the ear, and first just pause here, dropping down through the hip, reaching through the arm, finding that space. And then on an exhale, I want you to curl the back, round the belly, reach through the arm, reach, and then drag the fingers as you come around to the other side. Find an inhale to come all the way up, right arm lifts, and then cross the left arm underneath, eagle wrap. Lift the elbows if that helps you make some space. Forward fold if that helps you make some space. One more breath like this. And then again, get ready for a lion's breath. So first inhale, set up the cactus arms. Big breath in, and then exhale out of the mouth. Stick out the tongue, bulge the eyes. Good, then just look forward. Place your hands really neatly. Tuck your toes, lift up the hips, downward dog. Good. Feel your breath moving through the body here. Now, notice the spaces that you've already started to open up. Can you fill all those spaces with breath? From the soles of our feet to the crown of our head, right? We're feeling all these different spaces. We're allowing them to open, express. Honoring the space. None of this would be possible without space, right? Finally, slowly just walk the feet forward to the hands until you're in a standing forward fold, hanging over your legs. Soften your knees then and go ahead and drop the head and the arms, let them dangle and round your way up. Once you do get to the top, go ahead and roll the shoulders. So up and back. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Yeah, you're just rolling the shoulders. You're making some more room, more space for your neck, your back. Good. Rolling the other way. Good. And then I want you to just shake out the arms. And if you want, you can do a little bounce and jiggle. So everything's just kind of shaking. Maybe let the head fall one side and then the other. Okay. Just kind of shake all that out, right? So many different ways to make space. If the point is making space, play with the ways, right? We're not stuck on any of the means to that end. Now go ahead and find your way to the top of the mat. You may want a blanket on the mat for what we're going to work up toward here. Okay, you're going to hook your thumbs and reach up, breathe in, then bend your knees, swing your arms behind you, put your belly on your thighs, then straighten your legs and drop your head. Let's stay here for a moment. This is skier's pose. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. It's just a standing forward fold with your fingers interlaced behind your back. This is skier's pose. First exhale, then inhale, lift up the chest, sit your hips back, look a little forward. Now, you're going to step your left foot back. If you've got great balance and some strength and coordination, you could do that with your hands up. Otherwise, just lower the hands. Now, lower your left knee maybe onto that blanket, okay? We're actually going to stay here for 5 breaths, letting the full inhale come in, letting the full exhale go out, okay? Take your time with this. This part of the body can be very tight. There's no point in skipping steps, right? The wisdom of the Tao Te Ching, which I shared some of earlier today, has this, probably its most famous line, right? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. I often want to get to I want to get to mile 200, right? In day 1, often. And that always messes me up. So in other words, when making space, when things are really closed, that means we need to be more patient, more gentle, more at peace with just this step. And now this step, this breath. Okay. Now you're going to sit back for runner's stretch. So left hip over left knee, right leg extends. Blocks under the hands can be really great here. Lengthen the spine and then fold down over the right leg. Breathe here. Let the head just drop. The name of the game is honoring the spaciousness. Feel the inhale, feel the exhale. Filling up that space in the back of your right leg with breath. Okay, now you're going to shift your weight onto your right foot. You're going to pick up the back leg, standing split. So first the prep, you're going to lengthen your spine, look a little forward, and then fold, dropping the head, lifting up through the top leg like it's a lever. Breathe 1. Breathe for 2. Deep breaths. 3. Breathe. 4. Exhale. 5. Now, open your eyes and look, if they were close, and look where your left foot lands for a warrior 1. And we're going to do this move that we did last week. You're going to scoop the hands up like you're drawing up the yin energy, the earth and water energy from below. Then you're going to pour it over your head. You're going to straighten that front leg, and you're just going to let all of that happen. Then interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift up through your chest. Bend the front knee, humble warrior. You're going to dive the right shoulder inside of the right thigh. Let the arms hang overhead. Drop your head. Breathe 1. Good. So a lot of this sequence is also this experience of being a little upside down. Yeah. Maybe you allow the eyes to close, maybe not. Deep, deep breaths. Feeling the space being made in the outer right hip, in the shoulders. Breathing 4. And exhale everything out. Hollow out the belly for 5. Then come all the way up. Lift up through the chest and set up your feet for triangle pose. Facing the same direction. So right toes stay pointing forward. Back foot at an angle, and then reach through your right arm. And exhale, connect right hand to the shin. Left fingers to the sky. Breathe 1. Breathe 2. 3. 4. Exhale, 5. Okay, left arm alongside your left ear. Now this is challenging, just try it. Right arm alongside the right ear. Woo! And then angled lunge, like you're gonna take flight here. Arms alongside your ears, legs in a lunge, and then go ahead and bring the hands down. Step to plank pose. Now in plank pose, I want you to hold this for a moment and to see what it would feel like to feel like you're hovering. So the core has to be kind of gathered into the center. But then pull your heels back, your head forward, make space in your heart. One more inhale. Then exhale, lower your knees, your chest and your chin to the floor. Hug your elbows in. Inhale, glide the heart forward, point the toes, roll the shoulders back and down. Then downward dog. As you breathe out, shift your weight up and back, tuck toes, lift hips. Press your chest towards your thighs. How could you make more room here? How could you make more space? How can you inhabit that space fully? And then look forward, and you could step or hop your feet forward between your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine, open your heart. Exhale, fold down into your legs. Good. Hook your thumbs. Reach up, rise up. That's your in-breath. And then exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms behind you, interlace fingers behind your back, drop head. Skier's pose. Inhale, lift the chest, sit your hips back. Exhale, step your right foot back and lower the knee. Good. Lower the hands or find whatever version of this that feels right to you. We're here for 5 breaths. 5 nice long ones, right? Can you be patient and recognize every single breath, every single step on this process of opening this space is sacred. Every single one is necessary There's not like the last breath when you're finally the most open, that is actually the most sacred, right? Each step of the journey is the whole thing. So feel this breath in this sensation, in this version of your leg, your hip, your thigh. Last breath. And then go ahead and sit back so that the right knee is directly under your right hip. Flex the left foot, lengthen your spine, and then runner's stretch, folding forward over the leg. Let the head drop. Breathe deep breaths. Honor the spaces by filling them on it with inhales and emptying them with exhales. One more breath here. And then you'll shift the weight forward for a standing split prep. So pouring the weight into the front foot, lengthening the spine, looking forward, lifting the top leg, and then fold down as the right leg goes higher, the head drops lower. 1. Breathe deep breaths. 2. 3. Breathe. 4. Exhale. 5. Then look and watch as the right foot lands, bending the front knee. And then just so you can play with this with me, your palms are face up and your chest is kind of resting on your left thigh. Just scoop some energy up from the earth, straighten the front legs. You lift your head into it as you pour it down over you. And then interlace the fingers behind the back, lift your heart, then bend the front knee and dive inside of the left thigh. Stay here and breathe. 1. Deep breaths. 2. 3. Keep pressing through that back foot, keeping your hips nice and square. 4. Breathe. Exhale. 5. You're going to come all the way up and set up the feet. So probably a little bit more on a tightrope, setting up for triangle pose. Reach forward through that left arm. Reach, reach, reach. And then connect the hand to the shin, right arm to the sky. Breathe. 1. 2. 3. Breathing. 4. And 5. Right arm alongside the right ear. Left arm alongside the left ear. Woo! And then angled lunge. Okay, with your arms alongside your ears like you're about to take flight. Then hands down, step to plank pose. Breathe in. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Breathe out. Upward dog or cobra. Breathe in. Downward dog. Breathe out. Big inhale. Big exhale, maybe sigh out of the mouth. Inhale. Looking forward as you exhale, or at the bottom of that exhale, step or hop. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, fold into your legs. Bend your knees, hook your thumbs. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms behind you, interlace fingers behind your back, straighten legs. Inhale, skiers pose, sit your hips back, lift your chest up. Exhale, step your left foot back and lower the knee. Just ride the breath, okay? Hook thumbs, inhale, reach up if you can, if that feels good. As you breathe out, runner's stretch. So now we're just flowing through. Good. As you inhale, shift the weight forward again. Weight on the front foot. Lift up your chest and your left leg. Exhale, fold, standing split. Look as the left foot lands, then scoop the energy up from the earth. Inhale, rise up. Lift your crown into it, then exhale. Drop it down over your crown, interlace your fingers. Good. Breathe in here, then bend the front knee and dive inside of the right leg. Drop your head. Now inhaling, come all the way up. Lift up through your chest. Open everything up to the side. We're going to do this part a little bit differently. I want you to just turn your toes out a little bit. Good. And you're just going to put your hands on your hips and just get a little bit of flow through the hips like we did last week. Just inviting any sticky spaces to open. Good. And then let's go ahead and find an angled lunge facing the front of the mat, just like we did before. Then go ahead and take the hands down, step back to plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe in. Look forward. Breathe out, step or hop your way forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. You're just following the breath and my voice. Exhale, fold. Hook your thumbs, bend your knees. Inhale, reach up, rise up. As you exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms behind you, interlace fingers behind your back and drop your head. Inhale, skier's pose, sit the hips back, open the heart. Step your right foot back as you breathe out, lower the knee. As you breathe in, hook your thumbs and reach up, rise up. Exhale, go right into a runner's stretch, folding forward, flexing that foot. Inhale, come forward, standing split prep, picking up the back leg and the chest. Exhale, standing split. Watch as the right foot lands and rise up, scooping that earth energy up, straightening the front leg, then interlacing fingers behind your back. Finally, exhale, bend the front knee, dive inside of that front thigh. Breathing in, rise up. Good, and again, just turn to face the side, this time parallel feet, lifted heart, and fold inside of the legs, okay? Good. Now you could keep the arms like this, or you could put the hands on the ground. You could stay centered, or you could bend your right knee and lean a little to the right. Feel your breath wherever you are, okay? And then you could maybe switch that so you bend just gently moving, bend the left knee, straighten the right leg, breathe and feel. Now ultimately we're going to come all the way up. You can come through a flat back, then all the way up to stand. Face the front of the mat for angled lunge, arms alongside your ears, front knee bent, breathe in. And breathe out. Hands can come to the ground. Find a plank pose one last time. This time as you breathe out, come all the way down onto the mat. Good. Bring the forehead to the ground. You can either find Shalambhasana here with the tops of your hands pressed to the ground. Lift up the chest, lift up the legs. Or you could bend the knees, grab a hold of the feet, and lift up into Dhanurasana bow pose. Gaze down the tip of your nose, breathe 1. Breathe 2. 3. 4. Breathing deep and full. 5. Go ahead and come on down and put your hands underneath your forehead. You could windshield wiper your shins side to side. Then hands onto the mat, lift up through your chest, breathe in, that's cobra. Exhale, child's pose. And then we're going to do a version of headstand again, and it could be just like what you did before. Remember where we interlace the fingers, we put our crown of the head just right in between the wrists, and we tried to find just the right where the top is, right? If you want to go deeper, right, you're going to want to make sure that your elbows are not too wide. You can measure them off like this, and then you don't want the elbows to separate any further than that when you put them down. If you want to start to come up into a full headstand, you're welcome to do that. If you need a wall, you can just get yourself up and go to the wall. Right? Always can be nice to have a wall behind you. And then either you're in a version where you're just here and the crown of the head is breathing in and out of the earth, or maybe you lift up the hips, maybe you come all the way up. In any case, 5 more breaths or so. Oops, I'm trying to get right on top of my crown. There we go. 5 more breaths or so. Making sure there's space in your shoulders and your neck as you do this. And then breathing, the crown energy and the earth energy are merging here, becoming united. If you want to stay there a little longer, you can. Otherwise, you're going to come down nice and slow. Take a child's pose. Lengthen the back of the neck again. Ultimately, you're going to come to lie on your back. And I want you to choose one more shape. Maybe you want another inversion. Since we're working with ether, that would be appropriate, right? You could take a shoulder stand, that's great. Otherwise, another thing I might recommend here is just a quick little hip opener, a few breaths on each side. I'm demonstrating that, a version of that on my back here. Basically, you have the next minute to wind down your practice, to find a shape that feels really good and breathe in and out of it. Make sure, of course, if it's a two-sided pose, that you're going to switch sides in the next 4 or 5 breaths or so. Whenever you feel relatively complete, get cozy for a short shavasana. And we cannot experience this sense of spaciousness without learning how to relax. Okay? Allow yourself to just get completely comfortable and still on the floor. Set that up as you need. Maybe do what we did at the beginning and kind of lengthen the back of the neck and hook the occipital joint there on the ground so that stays long. Maybe you can do a similar thing with your hips, right? And then just let everything spread out on the ground. Let yourself take up space. Let yourself make weight, and let all of that be supported. And now, is it possible to soften the bottoms of your feet so much that you can feel the inhale and the exhale all the way down there? Is it possible to soften your pelvic floor so much that you can feel breath penetrating that space? So notice that when we tense, it's the gathering of space, not the opening, right? Which is fine and important, but this is the moment to let it all fall open. So no tension. Relax your heart and your throat and your brow. Relax the crown of the head and let the whole body be just like this porous breathing. nurtured, held entity. You're welcome to stay down for longer. When you are ready, you're going to wiggle fingers and toes, start to move the body. Lift up your arms and legs like we did at the beginning and just free flow move a little bit. Anything you want to do. And then when you are ready, you can roll over onto one side and then up to sit. We're going to close with one Om. First, find your alignment, find your balance here. Find your center. Breathe into that center. Nice big inhale. Bowing down to the wisdom that lives inside of you and inside of all beings. Bolo Shri Satguru Mata Devi Ki Jai.